Let's take a look at the Army's idea for a new squad automatic weapon. Let's go.
Let's dive into the details of what we know so far with the 3 future weapons programs that will eventually replace the 5.56 M16 family of weapons. We found some new, incredible animations from the inner workings of the Textron bid, created from their rifle patent plants. I did all the research and consolidated it here for you. I'm Chris Cappy, former Army veteran. This is Task and Gear. Here's the big takeaway. The new round.
This guy's got a good channel, so take a look at his stuff. My first question is, why are we looking to change it? It's more effective on the battlefield, okay. But I don't know that's been proven we've got an issue with our saws or our pigs, right? So now it's 6.8 millimeter ammo. Let's take a look.
Will be slightly heavier, fly at a faster velocity, and if all goes according to plan, it will allow troops to engage the enemy at greater distances with more lethality. Of the original companies in the running for the bid, only 3 remain: Sig Sauer, General Dynamics, and Textron. The losers, who were tossed out of the running in September, each one of the bids is made up of 3 different weapon systems. We have a replacement for the M16 carbine, a replacement for the M249 saw, and last but not least, a replacement for the 7.62 firing M240 Lima. The first 2 are 6.8 millimeter firing, and the last is a 338 Norma Magnum, which is a step up from the 7.62. First up is the Textron bid. I do like a lot of things about this bid. It weighs less, the ammo weighs less. Beautiful looking piece of weaponry. There are some high-speed advances here with an electric mechanical trigger. The spent casing is brought down and ejected while the fresh round is brought up, opposed to a conventional firearm where the round is brought directly from the magazine into the chamber and then ejected straight from there. This appears to have been added as a few extra steps, and I would be curious about the rate of fire with this. Does that extra movement slow it down at all?
Here's my take on it, guys. I want to hear your opinion. Unless it's lighter and more effective hitting the target, I don't see any point. I don't care what the design is. If you get a hump a heavier weapon, you're going to like a light one, right? First off. But if it's not more effective hitting the target and durability, I don't want the military to be guinea pigs any longer for these new ideas. They tried that in Vietnam with the M16A1, and it was a disaster.
In the firing mechanism, we have a lot more moving parts than usual going on within the guts of the weapon. The reason for complex systems probably has something to do with the caseless telescoped ammo that it fires. Cleaning that thing looks like it'd be an absolute nightmare. To be fair, complexity can sometimes equal better. Other times, it means Joe will be able to destroy the thing very quickly by dropping it because it's too delicate of a flower for him to be trampling on. With this bid, we're using caseless telescope plastic rounds. That'll save you about 40% in ammo weight, but I'm heavily skeptical about the reliability of the plastic ammo. The problem I'm having, though, is getting past the strange bulkiness. When I first looked at the rifle, I couldn't understand why it looked bulky. But it's because there's a lot going on the inside, as seen in the animation. Just because something lighter doesn't mean it's easier to use, though. First thing I can think of is how annoying it would be to mount your PEC-15, your optics, your flashlight, all your cool guy gear on there, and then you try to sit in an MRAP or a striker. Good luck fitting in a vehicle or easily getting yourself on.
That's a good point. Thing's already big, right? You put optics on, everything else. This thing is going to be unwieldy. Everybody wants smaller, at least lengthwise. Now we even created the width to be a monster. Take aside this plastic ammo, which is not out. And the military doesn't need to be guinea pigs anymore for plastic ammo or whatever the material is. If it's not more effective on the battlefield, we don't need it.
Anyway, the plan here is for the Army to procure 100,000 of the new weapon system from one of these 3 prototypes by 2022, and they're going to be seeing how it works. Why are they doing this? In 2010, Congress initiated an investigation of the performance of the M4, its pros, its cons, and if they had a reason to replace it. A summary of the report says,
you know, I wonder if they've ever talked to anybody who carries these weapons, and I'll tell you why. The Scar Heavy, I've known guys that have gotten that issued, tried it, and went back to the M4 platform. The Scar's a great weapon, but the way the charging handle is, it's a pain in the ass. So no one wants that. More bulk. By the time you get optics on the thing, it's a monster. So I don't know that the Army talked to guys that actually carry machine gunners or riflemen to carry these things, because if they asked their specs, it'd probably be different than the idiot officer came up with this idea.
While there may have been concerns raised by some of the M4's reliability and lethality, studies suggest that the M4 is performing well and is viewed favorably by the users. However, the Army is undertaking the individual carbine competition to conduct an open competition among small arms manufacturers for follow-up weapons. The small arms capability-based assessment found that many of the problems facing the M4 were solved by changing to a different improved ammo type, better optics, and more reliable magazines. It's true that many feed issues with the M4 can be traced to unreliable magazines. However, even though the M4 has a lot of love for it among all branches, the military is looking to replace it, have overmatch capabilities going into the future. The weapons development program will cost $10 million the first year and an estimated $150 million a year after that. The rifles need to be able to deliver both a high pressure test round, loaded 20% higher than normal pressure, and this is so that they can stress the rifle barrel and breech during firing. Apparently, it's said somewhere in the contract to make sure the suppressor looks like a Coke bottle stuck on the end of your rifle too. Thanks, General Dynamics.
So that rifle, right off the bat, if the soldiers, the Marines, that carry these rifles are happy with the M4, why would you change it? That's my question. Put that in the comments. What do you guys think the reason for the change is? Besides just blowing money with tactical gear, right?
Sig Sauer. The M68 from them is the M249 replacement. It's fully auto, belt-fed from a 200-round drum. This submission admittedly won my heart. Two things stuck out to me: the reciprocating barrel design and the new optic. The barrel will now move with each shot to balance out the recoil forces. This has pros and cons. The weapon is more accurate, but it has a slower rate of fire. If you ask me, those are actually both positives because you don't need a higher rate of fire if you're putting accurate rounds downrange. The bid, at its core, is about the new advanced ammo and the energy it brings to the table. The proprietary new round is a steel/brass hybrid instead of the plastic-cased ammo that the other companies are bringing to the table. The base of the ammo, where the primer is struck, is made of steel. This allows it to be more reliable with a higher lethality. The energy can be increased dramatically because of the steel base. The rest of the ammo is made of a standard brass, with a clip inside to connect the two. Sig claims the energy is increased by a factor of 50 to 60% while reducing the weight by 20%. The machine gun has for too long been too heavy.
I've never seen a can on a fully auto weapon. That thing would get so hot and create problems, so that doesn't make any sense to me. The next thing here is the weight is an issue, like he says. If you can lighten the load, it's going to be a good thing. I don't think that saws or squad machine guns need to really worry more about accuracy. I mean, put ACOGs on top. I think they're good enough for what we're trying to accomplish here. I don't think the accuracy has been that much of an issue. It's more the operator.
Sig Sauer has not mentioned the recoil on the carbine version, or if it's reliable enough to reduce recoil effectively with the 6.8mm round. Another advantage that this weapon has is the ergonomics are the most similar to all the bids with the M16, which would mean less of a shock to Joe when he picks it up from his supply sergeant for the first time. We all know Joe. He would pick up the bullpup rifle and not know which way to point the barrel for at least a few years. The new optic from Sig Sauer that comes along with these weapons have some really impressive capabilities. Up to 1,200 meters out with the 338 machine gun, you can first laze the target and the system will put the first round on target after that. The military has held the position that they would not replace their current weapons until there was a significant enough leap in technology to justify the massive cost of replacing all the weapons. I think that these bids are getting closer and closer to that point. Sig Sauer worked up a replacement for the M240 as well. The number one feature of the replacement is the 338 round. And I guess
now I don't know why you'd want to replace a 5.56 with a 338. That's going to be heavy, right? So now we're talking making the weapon heavier, and I don't know that we get any more value with the 338. I mean, for a sniper rifle, yeah, 338 lapua would fit the bill, but in this case, I don't get it. I mean, you got a 50, you got an M60, you got a saw, so you got a variation already of rounds. And for a squad automatic weapon, you know, the saw 5.56 is nice because it's easy to carry and lighter. What do you guys think?
they figured it wasn't fair to up the firepower of the 5.56 to 6.8 and then not replace the 7.62 with an upped 3.38, which falls somewhere between the 7.62 and the 50 cal. This prototype, while firing a larger round, still only weighs 19 pounds. This is a very exciting update. The energy on target is similar to a 50 cal. Last but not least is the General Dynamics bid.
My question is, do we need more energy on target? If you've ever seen somebody shot with one of these things, whether it be a 7.62 or 5.56, they do plenty of damage. Now, the thing you're to think about is, what about for vehicles? Well, shot placement's key, obviously. 50 cal does it. Do you think there's a need for that to go from a 7.62 by 51 to a 6.8? Is it going to add any value beyond cost and more complexity? Because you know how this will work. It won't get rolled out to everybody. You'll have all these variations of how it's done. So it's
New 6.8 millimeter next generation squad weapon. They're going for a bullpup design with their weapon, and I know that there's a lot of hate for the European bullpup design, especially because word on the street is the British and everyone else who fields the bullpup do not like the awkward reload because the magazine is behind the pistol grip in the rear, which makes reloading while laying down a hassle. Seriously.
You guys ever fired one of these? I have. Now, I'm used to an M16, M4 platform, but that thing was a pain in the ass. I know a lot of troops around the world carry them. I'm not a big fan. What do you guys think about that? Put that in the comments if you like a bullpup over an M16 platform or even an AK platform for the average rifleman.
With this design, it means a longer barrel while still having a shorter length in overall for the rifle, because firing mechanism has been moved to the rear of the rifle near the buttstock, right where you place your face, which isn't fun to be firing the rounds when they're going off right next to your face with this different design. They're going with an entirely polymer case for their ammo as opposed to the steel base or telescoped ammo. So each developer is coming to the plate with a different style of ammo entirely. The polymer ammo is developed separately from General Dynamics in a partnership with True Velocity Ammo. The ammo looks great. It saves weight. It absolutely is revolutionary. This makes the decision even harder because all the weapons have their pros and their cons.
You know, if we want to save weight on ammo, we can start with having aluminum casings. Now, are they as good as brass? No. But if it's about weight, I don't know about this material. It's not out on the consumer market. And how much it's been tested in the military bids under perfect circumstances, I don't know. But I do know the history of the military. I'm going to harken back again to the M16A1 in Vietnam. So we go from a 7.62 round to a 5.56. Now we're going back to heavier rounds again. It's like history repeating itself.
Some save more weight in ammo or save more weight with the rifle.
So that was a good rundown of what the Army's thinking about. A question for you guys. If we're saving weight on an infantryman, where would be the best place? Is it going to be in the weapon side? The body armor side? That's the question, because I think you save more weight on body armor than you could on weapons. Cheaper, right? And then the last thing, is it going to work with these different casing rounds? Put that in the comments. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. For my current subscribers, I appreciate you. Thanks for watching.